Hi, so have you ever wanted to know how hard every game in Squid Game is? Well, today you'll find out. On Roblox, there's this game called Squid Game, but your friends are in it, where we make NPCs play Squid Game. The NPCs are exactly the same, so they're perfect for our experiment. We will make 100 NPCs play the same game over and over, and see how long they last and what percent die. We then can compare those stats and find out how hard the games are. So the first game we are testing is red light, green light, where the only thing NPCs have to do is move during green light. I kind of expected most of the NPCs to die during the first round, because it said around 50% die every round, but somehow only 26 died, which means that round was a 20% death rate, which was really low compared to 50% it said. For the second game, I decided to equip a new map skin that gives some variety, and I thought it wouldn't really affect things, but then I saw that whenever it was red light, at least like 5 people died, and by the end of the game, 30 people were left, so that means 34 people died, which was double last round. 60% of the people died, which is quite a jump from last time. Round 3 was just like round 2, where every red light was killing a chunk of the players left. Also, while watching, I saw that somehow my own NPC was somehow still alive, and actually made it up to the end along with 4 other people, which meant that 25 players died, and that meant 80% of the players somehow died, which is a big jump even for the 60% we had last round. Round 4 started off with 2 out of the 5 players dying, one of them being mine, and the other 3 raced to the end, but all of them died, making this the last round. And I don't really want to say 100% of people died, since that's just because of the low player count. So we're going to say if one other person was there, they would have survived, so this is an 83% death rate. Overall, it took 4 games, and the average death rate was 63%, which is actually pretty high for what's supposed to be the easiest game. The next game that we will look at is Honeycomb. I won't tell you about exactly what happened every round, but I will tell you exactly how the game works. All the NPCs get a cookie, and a percent bar on top shows how far they've gotten, and if it hits 100 without the cookie cracking, the NPC survives. The 5 cookies are triangle, square, circle, umbrella, and Mona Lisa. Oh yeah, and somehow in between the games, the dinner minigame happened twice. And somehow the last one was the deciding factor on who won the entire game. So it took 9 games for there to be a winner, and the average death rate was 38%, which is kind of surprising because it said it would have around the same death rate as red light, green light. Tug of War is very interesting because every round at least 50% of people have to die. And also there's a chance, since they are NPCs, that only a couple players can beat an entire team, which actually happened during our test. That's all I really have to say about this game before I show you the results. So the past time, I'll show you montages of Tug of War matches. So it took 6 Tug of War rounds for the game to end, and the average death rate was 53%, which is like right on the dot of what the game said it would be. This game is similar to Tug of War, where at least 50% have to die, but in Tug of War, most of the time, it was just a 50% death rate with maybe like 1 or 2 exceptions, but in this game, there's a lot of players who ran out of time. The game is also kind of hard to watch, since they're all across the entire giant map. Also, I'm not sure if this can happen to other people, but 2 times the game has turned black during the round, and 1 times was actually the final round of the entire game. And also, the person who won the entire game just got to skip 2 rounds just because it was an odd number. The game took 6 rounds like Tug of War, but unlike Tug of War, it had like a 59% death rate, which was way higher than the 50% it said it would probably have. Glass Bridge is the first game to not be labeled as a 50% death rate, because labeled as actually 80, which is the biggest so far. The first round was really laggy since all the players, but that did mean there was plenty of players to make it across the glass, and 40% made it, but all the rest died. The second round went around the same as the first round, but it was just a little bit less laggy, because everyone was just jumping between the platforms. That's it. The third round was really important because if 2 or more people made it, it would tie for red light, green light with least amount of games played. And that actually did happen. 3 people made it to the end. But if it has a higher difference, that means it is a harder game. The final round had the same platform as the marble game with it turning black, but obviously the 3 players could not make it to the end and they still did not win. They played 4 games and the average death rate was 69%, which is higher than red light, green light, so it's the highest so far. This game is the only one in this video to not be in the show, but this does represent Squid Game, so it will be included. This game is just kind of a giant free-for-all, so I think we'll just use this time to show the stats to compare them. But first, we do need to get Sword Fight's results, so here it is. It took 3 games and an average death rate of 76%. Those stats actually bump Sword Fight up to first place, and right behind Sword Fight is Glass Bridge, who barely beat Red Light Green Light, who is in third. Now that we know what the difficult games are, what are the easiest games? In 4th place is Marble, mainly thanks to the timer in that game. This is Tug of War and Honeycomb. And in 5th place is Tug of War. This means the easiest game is Honeycomb. Thank you for watching to the end, and I hope you have a great day.